she says to me, "Oh my gosh, you look so much like your mom." And I was like, "What? You never met my mom. How would you know what she looks like?" And she was like, "Me, I'm your mom." That's literally
What?
word for word what she said. She said, "Me, I'm your mom." Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Welcome back to OTO episode 2.
Episode number 2.
This is making so much noise. My ice cubes.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's Alani, by the way.
Yeah, Alani, sponsor. We love Alani.
We love Alani. It's so good. And it's literally all that gets me through the day. So,
Same. I could drink Alani every day of my life.
yeah. And just so you know, the peel sticker on the peach can, it's not a sticker.
It's not actually
Don't
a
waste
sticker.
your time. So,
They should make it that, though. You know, they
Yeah.
should make it a real sticker.
Yeah, they really should. Anyways, so today we're going to talk about our lives. Again.
Some more.
Some more of our lives after mom and stuff. And there's actually some stuff I remembered that I wanted to add into that I forgot about. So yeah, so something that like I forgot to mention in the last episode was just kind of like some things that happened that like God was working in my life whenever I was like in the middle of living with an addict. And I used to go to Camp Kanesatake, which was so much fun. It's a Christian camp, if you guys don't know what that is. But yeah, I would go there and it would be like such a break and like such a breath of fresh air, like being there. And it's like a week of like pure bliss and just like being with God and stuff like that.
Is that still like a thing?
I think so. I think so. And actually, like more people than you would think have been there.
Oh, yeah.
Like I remember talking to people like in high school and stuff that have been there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a great camp. And so yeah, and then like I would come back home and it would just be like that.
Sorry, I have a picture of us there. Do you remember that?
Yes, and my hair was cut so short.
Yeah, maybe I can insert it or something. Continue.
Yeah, so that camp was like amazing. And then I'd come back home and it would take like less than an hour for me to lose that spark and that like just peace that I felt. But anyways, one of the times I came back home from camp, I was in my bedroom and I had my Bible in my bed because I just came back from camp, and I could hear mom in the other room and she was like crushing things and doing things, and like I could just hear it and it was like really irritating me. And so I shut my door and my fan was going also. So I had my fan on and I shut my door, and she like came storming into our room and she was like, "How dare you shut yourself out from your family?" And I was just like, "I'm not. I just can't stand listening to this anymore." But like I didn't say anything. And then like she slammed our door, and between her like slamming our door and my fan on, and my Bible was laying open, and this doesn't sound real.
Right.
But my Bible, like the pages like turned because you know how thin they are. Yeah. And so I like looked at my Bible and it was on Jeremiah, and the verse that like my eyes went right to was Jeremiah 29:11. And so that's, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to give you hope in a future, plans to not harm you." And that just like was everything I needed like in that moment. And that verse like stuck with me from then on out. And like I just had so much faith in God and that he would get me out of that situation, and you as well. And it was just like exactly what I needed, and it was crazy. And yeah, so that's like that verse just like still sticks with me till today, and I use it all the time in my head and like to get me through certain things. So yeah, that was just one thing that I forgot to mention from the last time.
That's a really cool story.
Yeah.
When you told me that, because you never said that before.
Yeah.
Or, like a couple of days ago, you told me. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing, dude.
I had that verse on my grad cap and everything.
Yeah, that's been like your verse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's been very helpful. It's a good tool to help you get through things. But yeah, so life after mom, what was it like for you?
Okay, so after mom kind of disappeared, so I was like, 9 or 10, and I just went and lived with my dad. And things were fine. And it was really nice living there because I always felt like safe, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't scared anymore. I wasn't being woken up in the middle of the night to go places. Like I just always felt like I finally had some sense of like security, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, I really like I feel like as soon as I started living there is when like my childhood really started and I had like a real like normal fun like childhood and with friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was really nice and I've been living there ever since and yeah, no complaints.
Heck yeah. I love
Yeah.
that for you. Um, yeah. My life was a little different.
A little different.
Yeah, so after mom, so we left I left when I was 13, and whenever children and youth got called, we called my dad that night too. My friend's mom and I called my dad. And I remember I was like bawling hysterically. I couldn't even talk. And
Mhm.
he literally thought I was pregnant.
What?
Yeah. And I
When
was
you were
13. And he was like, just tell me if you're pregnant. And I was like, that is
Oh
not what's
my
going on,
gosh.
first of all. Like,
That's,
no, I'm
dude,
not.
imagine. That's crazy.
No.
That's crazy.
So, yeah. So we like arranged for him to pick me up from field hockey the next day. And like mom at the time, even that night after children and youth was called and whatever, she didn't know that we called children and youth. And so like I had to call her and tell her like, oh, dad got my games mixed up. He thought I had one tomorrow, so he's still just going to come anyways and we're going to get dinner after practice or whatever.
Mhm.
But really I was going home with him. And yeah, so the next day where the whole team is walking to field hockey practice, and like where we lived was right near the school, and you could literally see our house walking up past the school. So we're walking to field hockey practice, and everybody on the team can see all these cop cars over at the house.
What?
Yes. And they're all like, oh, Summer, like, what's going on? And I was just like,
Oh
I don't
my
know. Like,
gosh. Wait, was I there?
at the house, you
Yeah.
you were in like kindergarten at that time. So I don't know.
Was it during school time?
It would have been right when school left out. We were on our way to field hockey practice.
So yeah, I probably wasn't there if I was in kindergarten.
Yeah. You're probably like on your way home on the bus
What the
or,
heck? I don't remember that.
yeah.
I don't remember a bunch of cop cars like
Or
that.
actually, maybe your dad picked you up that day from school or
Yeah,
something.
probably.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume that my friend's mom, like, we organized everything, and like, I
Mhm.
probably had somewhere for you to go to.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, everybody's like, "Oh, Summer, what are the cops doing at your house?" And I was just like, I don't know. That's weird. Yeah, So, anyways, how was civics class today? Yeah. So, anyways, and then my dad came to my field hockey practice, and we went from field hockey practice back to mom's house so that I could get some stuff because I really didn't have anything at my dad's, and I like packed my clothes and stuff. And right as I was walking out the door, she was like, "How could you betray me like this?" And that was literally the last thing she said to me.
Oh my god.
And I was just like, "That's crazy. That's so delusional for you to think that I betrayed you." Like,
Yeah, right.
yeah. So then I went to my dad's. And then after that, so my dad had been married like they got together when I was 3, so they were married for 10 years actually.
Wow.
And like a year before we left mom, my aunt's boyfriend got in a motorcycle accident and he passed away. And I think that was like my dad's wake up call. He wasn't really like happy in his marriage, whatever. I don't know. I love his ex-wife so much. During the time that they were together, she wasn't nice to me because I was like, another woman's daughter or whatever. So she was not nice to me at all, but we've really mended things since then. So anyways, I think that was like my dad's wake up call whenever my aunt's boyfriend passed away and he decided that he was going to get a divorce. So they ended up getting a divorce. And then I moved in with him and he got a new girlfriend. And I really liked her at first. Like, I was like desperate for like somebody to fill that hole in my heart that my mom left. And so like I was very like open and accepting of like basically any like female figure in my
Right,
life.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
so I like really liked her at first and stuff. And then one night I was like having a really rough night about mom and I was like crying and she was like comforting me and she was like, just so you know, I would never try to replace your mom. Like this is when crazy started. She was like, I would never try to replace your mom. And I was like, thank you. Like it's just so hard, blah, blah. So the next day, she says to me, "Oh my gosh, you look so much like your mom." And I was like, "What? You never met my mom. How would you know what she looks like?" And she was like, "Me, I'm your mom." That's literally
What?
word for word what she said. She said, "Me, I'm your mom."
After she just told you she was
Yes, that's when I knew she was crazy. Because I was like, wait a second. First of all, I look nothing like you. Nothing. Nothing.
Oh my god.
Second of all, you just said you would replace my mom, and literally, like, not even 12 hours ago. And then she's like, "Me, I'm your mom." And I was
What?
like,
I did not know that.
yeah.
That's crazy.
So that's when things started getting rocky in that department. And my dad grounded me because I was like dating the neighbor boy. And
What?
yeah, it was literally like in 8th grade, like
Yeah.
whatever. My dad didn't like him, and so he was like, "Yeah, you're grounded." Took my phone.
What?
And anyways, her being the cool new girlfriend, whatever, started giving me her phone at nighttime when her and my dad went to bed. She
Oh,
was like, "You can
really?
use my phone to text the neighbor
Oh
boy."
my gosh.
So, anyways, this went on for like my dad literally took my phone for like 2 weeks.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So this went on for like a while, and towards like the end of those 2 weeks, the one night she gave me her phone and she was like, "Don't look at my pictures." And like she had never said that before, and me being like curious, I would blame it on being a teenager. But even
Yeah.
today, if somebody was like, "Here's my phone, but don't look at my
Yeah,
pictures,"
don't do
I'd be
that.
the curiosity would get to me.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
so I was like, "What the heck? She's never said that before." Like, I've looked at her pictures, like whatever. It's like pictures of her kids, pictures of her and dad, like whatever.
Oh,
So
gosh.
that night when she said that, I was like, "I'm definitely looking." And I freaking look, and literally, like, the most recent pictures taken, the same outfit she was wearing that day, she always wore this bright pink tank top with like her hanging out. And I'm just like, ugh, like she was, ugh. So, yeah, literally the most recent pictures taken, same outfit she was in that day, her kissing another man. Yes. So I'm like, no. So I'm like, I'm definitely telling my dad.
Yeah.
So the next day, I'm in my room, I got my phone back. So yeah, this had to have literally been like the last night that I wasn't allowed to have my phone. So the next night, and she could like tell, like that whole day, like I was very distant and like I didn't like her anymore. Like, you're
Yeah,
cheating on my
right.
dad.
Yeah.
So I texted him that night and I said, "Can you come in my room without the circus?" Because her and her like 3 kids would follow my dad around everywhere. Like, I had not had one-on-one conversation with my dad since I moved in there.
What the heck?
Like, it was like my dad and then her 3 kids all in a row, like just everywhere. And I was like, it was so annoying. So I texted him and I was like, "Can you come to my room without the circus?" And like, I'm sure she knew that I knew because I was acting weird. She told me not to look. She knew those were on her phone, blah, blah. She must have read the text message before my dad did.
Oh no.
And so she comes storming into my room and she's like, "Do you want to go?" Puts her fist up at me. And I was like, "Yeah, to my Graham's house. Bye." And I freaking packed my bag and I left. And that was it. That was that.
Why did you never told me that? I swear I've asked you.
I think I have.
Because I swear I've asked you why, like, you didn't stay with your dad, and I don't remember. Maybe I don't remember what you said. Maybe you just
Well,
said,
he's
like,
kicked me out a couple of times.
Oh.
I love my dad. We have a good relationship now, but childhood was rocky. He kicked me out a couple of times. One of being whenever we lived with mom, and I never wanted to go there because his ex-wife was so mean to me. And like, I'd walk in the house and I'd have flip-flops on, and like we were poor, and she'd be like, "Ew, this flip-flop," literally the first thing out of her mouth, not even hi, she'd be like, "Ew, those flip-flops look like trash." And I would just be like,
Oh my
okay.
gosh.
Like, I was just a little girl. But anyways, yeah, so then I was like at dad's that one weekend and I got scared, so I called mom to come get me because I was just like, I had a nightmare or something. And I was like sleeping on the couch and stuff. I didn't even have a room at this point.
Gosh.
And I went and woke dad up in the middle of the night and I was like, "Hey, like, I'm scared. Mom's coming to get me," because we were mommy's girls. And he freaking put all my stuff in a trash bag and threw it outside and told me not to come back.
What?
And I was probably only like 10 at this point, and I was like, I remember being so upset because you know how much I hate when people are mad at me.
Right.
Like, I remember just being so upset that he was mad at me. Not mad that he kicked me out of the house, which is absurd to do to your 10-year-old, but like mad. I was upset that he was mad at me. It's just like, what the heck? So, yeah, he kicked me out a couple times, but that time she came in and she was like, "You want to go?" And I was literally like, "Yes," to my grandma's house. And I got up and I packed all my stuff and I walked out the door and I walked out to my grandmother's house.
She was about to fight you. That's crazy.
And my dad, like, I remember whenever I was like packing my stuff to leave, he was mad at me. He told me that I was lying. I was like, "She's cheating on you," and he was like, "No, she's not. You're lying." And he was like, "I already looked at her pictures, blah blah blah. There's nothing in there." And I'm like, "Duh, she deleted it."
Yeah, right.
Like, how stupid.
Which why wouldn't she delete it before she gave her?
Yeah, exactly. Because she wanted to like cherish those memories, I guess, with this random dude. I don't know. So, yeah. So she probably like got like a hidden photo album or something.
Right.
Like, I guarantee she didn't get rid of them, but
yeah.
And I'm like, "Dad, why would I lie about this? Like, I genuinely really liked her." I mean, things got weird when she called herself my mom, but like I was still like respectful, whatever. Right. I still was so like, I needed that mother figure so bad. So whatever, I was like, I'll take what I can get. Like, so I wouldn't lie about it, but whatever. Things really went downhill with them too after I moved out. She like cheated on him, and some kid on the bus told me my dad was, I think, working night shift at that point, or maybe he was on day shift, and dang it, I can't remember. I think he was on day shift, and some guy was coming over like while I was at school and stuff, and the neighborhood boy was like, "Hey, I keep seeing some guy like go to your house, and it's not your dad." And so when I got off the bus that day, I told my gram, and she freaking went out there and was screaming. And literally, this is how crazy this woman was. She beat herself up. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, my gram did swing, but the screen door was between them, and like this woman backed up, and like my gram didn't hit her. I was in the truck, but I was watching like in the rearview mirror. My gram didn't hit her, but she did swing. This girl went inside and beat herself up, called an ambulance. The cops showed up at my gram's house like an hour later and were asking to check our knuckles because she said that Gram beat her up. Gram didn't touch her. Like, on everything. Gram did not touch her. And they were like, "Yeah, the paramedics are out there. Like, her face is all red and swollen." And like,
that's crazy. Wow, I can't believe I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, my gram literally got a fine for harassment. And yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yep, so that happened. And then she also chased my dad with a knife to the neighbor's house one night. Chased him around the house with a knife, and he ran out the door and ran over the neighbors.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that.
And called the cops, and she also got arrested for not paying child support. And I'm just like,
what a psycho, dude.
Yeah, so that happened. So anyways, then me and my dad's relationship got pretty non-existent because I was really upset with him, and he was mad at me for some reason. And so yeah, then I'm living at my grandma's house, and I just never really like felt like I fit in there. Like, she obviously, my aunt, like, she had a daughter and stuff like that, and like that like motherly hole was just like not being filled. And yeah, that was kind of like the whole thing living there. Like, I just never felt like I was supposed to be there. Like, I don't know. Right. It was weird. It was weird feeling like an outcast because I don't know. But yeah, and then my dad got another girlfriend, and I loved her so much. So freaking much. She was literally like, I still love her so much. And she was just like, she filled that hole in me, but like I only saw her once in a while because my dad moved up to where she lived, and that was like 2.5, 3 hours away. Oh my gosh. So like I'd only see them once in a while, but like I'd go up and surprise my dad for Father's Day and like stay up there like for the weekend or whatever. But she was the sweetest person ever. Yeah, and there were a couple more girlfriends, but yeah, so then I lived with my gram and kind of just had a falling out with them. Never really felt like part of the family, I guess. Yeah, so I'm not going to go too into detail about that just because I don't need any wars started. So, yeah, but Gary is my fiance. We have 2 kids together, and we've been together for 3.5 years. Yeah, so I went to Bloomsburg University, and I changed my major a million times because I actually didn't really know what I wanted to do. And then I started not really caring, honestly, about what to do.
Yeah, right.
Like, I was just there to party at that point, and yeah, not a good time in my life. I got very depressed while I was there, actually. Um, and like towards the end, I ended up dropping out, but towards the end, like I would just get so sad and I would just drive home because I just couldn't stand being up there anymore. And Bloomsburg is like a very boring school. Like there's nothing to do. They don't have anything in that town for you to go do. So like really your only option is to party if you want something to do. Like,
Yeah.
and that's why like that school is just like full of partiers. And yeah, so yeah, but it's like a black hole. That's how I describe that school. I mean, to anybody that went there and loved it, I'm very happy for you. It just wasn't for me. It was just very like very dark and sad.
Yeah,
and
different things aren't for everyone. I think
Yeah.
people view stuff differently. So.
Exactly. Yeah, so yep, I like stopped caring about class, and I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do, which I honestly like think it's kind of ridiculous that at 18 when you graduate you're supposed to know what you want to do. Like
Right.
I am in a way different point in my life than I was when I graduated high school. Like I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
My personal opinion about college is like unless you're going to be like a doctor or a surgeon or like something like a vet, like something like that, then okay. But like there's people that went to college and we have the same job.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly what Dad says too.
Yeah.
He's like, there's no point in going to college unless you're gonna be something like that you need like a bachelor's degree for. Because you can go to community college, and you can go to nursing school, whatever. People are going to college just to go. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
No,
yeah, it's
no
like
shade.
Yeah, it's like it's praised, like it's like way over
Height.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can talk about that because I just graduated, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. I just started applying to all these colleges because I was like, that's what everyone's doing. Everyone's going to college, so I might as well just apply to a bunch if I get in.
Yeah.
And I got into every single one that I applied for, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. Anywho, yeah, I talked to Dad and Pap about it, and they were like, well, we're not going to send you to college if you don't know what you want to do. Like, that's dumb.
Yeah.
And I was butthurt about it because I was like, I just want to go.
Yeah.
But then I think I talked to my guidance counselor about it too, and I just kind of realized like, yeah, there's no point in me going if I don't know. Then I was gonna go do community college, and that didn't feel right either, and I still don't really know. This is my gap year, I call it, but still not knowing what I want to do. But I'm in like a good place now, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of just chilling. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think college can be very overrated, and I think gap years are very like people like look down on them so much, and I think that they're very needed. Like you need a year to like really think about and decide what you want to do. Like when you're in high school, you're doing classes and you're in school. Like you don't have the time to like really think about like what you want to do.
Yeah.
And even like I said, at 18 years old, I just don't know how you can be expected to know.
Yeah, but some people like they like have had their mind set on something for so long, and they just sound like like good for you for that, but for a lot of people that's not what it is. And you don't know, and it's okay to not know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have to listen to everyone else. Do what you think is right.
And there are like those 6-month like nursing programs and like all that kind of stuff, and like you would just save so much money by doing that. But
yeah, there's so many like alternatives, I feel like, especially now, like so many different things I feel like back then it was really like college or nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that's still like the motto.
Yeah. I think people are becoming more like educated on it
For
though.
sure.
And like another thing that I've always like been like, wow, that I wish I would have done is like they have like those trade schools like while you're in high school.
Oh yeah, right.
So like the girls that want to go to like beauty school or whatever, like they can get a head start on that. And there's so many options for guys. And there's even nursing programs, I think, while you're in high school that you can do as well. So
yeah, right.
I think those are great
Yeah.
things to do.
Yeah, I always wish that I had done the cosmetology stuff.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I think I wish I would have done it too because I love. I mean, I don't really love doing hair, but I love doing makeup.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Oh well.
But yeah. So went to Bloomsburg. Was a good time, but wasn't a good time. You know what I mean? And yeah, so. But I did meet Gary there, and he actually was literally from like the town over from me at home. Like we only lived a town apart. And
yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, I knew of him because he was on the football team and stuff, but like I didn't like ever talk to him. And he had a girlfriend like all through high school. But yeah, then we met through mutual friends at Bloomsburg, and he chased me for 5 years because he was a bad banana. And
he was in love with you, dude. That is commitment right there.
I know.
He did not give up.
Yeah, this is like, so we've been together for 3.5 years, but he literally chased me for 5.
That's crazy.
So that's 8.5 years that this man has like dedicated his life to me.
That's so sweet, honestly.
I know. Yeah. We've been through a lot of ups and downs in the last 3.5 years, but hopefully one of these times we can get him on here. I think he definitely will be willing, and he can share his testimony because he's really been through a lot and experienced a lot and had God work in his life a lot, and his story is amazing. Yeah. So, and there's definitely people that are, little Garys that are
little Garys.
I have little Garys.
Little Gary.
Being bad bananas, you know, and could really use some encouragement to get through that and I be a better you.
Yeah, I think some people get in that, like, in situations like that, and they kind of have that mindset of, like, this is my life, know, there's no getting out, but, like, it's just not true. And, like, from hearing everything about Gary, it's like, wow, like, anyone can, get through that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because look at where he was then and where he's at now. Yeah. Like, that is a huge change.
Exactly. Yeah. He's a great father. He's a hard worker. It's literally like a whole 360. Like, he is a different guy. I think a lot to do with situations like that is who you surround yourself with. Like, people like say that, like, whatever, they throw that out there, but like that is such a true statement. Like, you are who you surround yourself with. And if you're doing bad things and like whatever, you're making bad decisions, you've got to take a look at the people around you and like who you're letting in your life. And then I think like once you start replacing those people with like Christian people or like whatever, people that have better morals, better life skills, whatever, like your life really changes a lot. And yeah, it's crazy. But Gary had a difficult childhood as well, and so it's amazing to me how like people can be wired differently or like interpret situations differently. So like going back to like us growing up with mom, like we could have used that as an example of what to be, or we could have like taken that pain and like had it shape us into a different kind of person. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And like I know people like that, like they've been through stuff in their life and like they let that pain like consume them and build a similar life to the pain that they endured.
Yeah, but I think with us, we were like the complete opposite. Like that was our example of what not to do. Yeah. And thank goodness, because of that, like we'll never touch drugs or like
and it's cool too because like I personally feel like I have experienced like every type of parenting, like, and none of it was good. Honestly, I've experienced parenting of all types and none of it was good, and I used all of those examples to make sure that I'm not like any of them. Like I just
Yeah.
use them as like a guide of what not to be. And like I'll get into like motherhood and stuff in another episode, but it's really like honestly, I'm so blessed to like have experienced all of that and be able to like sometimes if I'm like acting a little bit out of hand or whatever, like my kids are on my nerves and I like snap or whatever. Like I have the ability to like step back and be like, I don't want to be that kind of mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I'm really grateful for those experiences and stuff. But yeah. Wow, I got way off topic.
It's okay.
Yeah, I actually went to Hack first. I went to Hack for a year.
Oh yeah, that's where I was gonna go.
Yeah, just did like my general studies or whatever, and then went to Bloomsburg. And I started at Bloomsburg in physical therapy, and then I was like, this crap's hard.
Wow.
Dude, freaking anatomy? That stuff is so difficult. Props to all of you who understand it. I was like, no way. So then I switched my major to criminal justice, and then I actually didn't mind that, but I was like, what job am I literally going to do? Like, unless I move to like a big city and can like actually do something, but around here, like, what job am I going to do that's going to like make money and I'm going to like? And also, because I switched my major so much, I already did like 3 years, and they were like, oh, you're going to have another 3 years. And I was like, no way. If they would have been like, you have one more year and you can graduate. And I literally had all my credits for criminal justice like completed. It was 3 more years of like just random crap. What do they call that? Like the extracurricular whatever.
Yeah.
Like one of the classes was called eggs. And I was like, and then I had to take like a music class and like
no, what the
stuff
heck?
that had nothing to do with my major, but I needed the credits to graduate. And I was like, I'm out. I'm out. Forget about it.
That's
I'm not getting myself in 3 more years of debt.
No, you would
to take eggs. Like, no.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah. So yeah. Then I worked for an insurance company straight out. After I dropped out of college, I started working for an insurance company. And then COVID hit. So then I started working from home for the insurance company. And I've literally worked from home basically ever since. Like there was a gap in between. I left that insurance company when I found out I was pregnant. And I just waitressed for like a year and a half, 2 years. And then now I work for another job that's completely working from home. So pretty cool. Thank you, COVID, for that.
And you moved around a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you were still living at your grand's when you started working for the insurance company, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then I got my first apartment when I was 21 or 22. I can't really remember. I want to say I was still 21 because I dropped out. I turned 21 in October, and then I dropped out of Bloomsburg in January. And then I got that job with the insurance company in February, actually. So, and then I moved out in May.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I was 21. I got my first apartment, and then Gary and I got together. He moved in with me, and then we moved to another town, which was beautiful. We lived like on the river. It was so nice. Oh my
gosh, yeah, I love that place.
But that landlord didn't want any kids, and that's where I found out I was pregnant. And so he was a piece of work.
No kids?
Yeah, he said he didn't want anybody no families to live there.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, no kids.
That's bizarre.
So then whenever I had to tell them I was pregnant, because like we were going to make the room a nursery and stuff, like had they let us, and to play the system, because I'm pretty sure that's illegal to actually kick somebody out for being pregnant. But
yeah, what?
He was like, oh, like our next door neighbor had moved out. I loved her so much, and I actually worked with her at one of the restaurants that I waitressed at. But since she had moved out, he used that as leverage and was like, oh, we're going to rent this, or we're going to renovate or something. Like he had some for excuse. He ended up renting it to like his son or something like that. But he just literally worked around it because I was pregnant. He didn't want kids there.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, we moved out of there, and we moved to my dad's for a little bit, actually, to like get on our, we moved to another place in that same town. And then we moved to my dad's for a little bit to like get a little bit ahead and get on our feet. Then we moved back to the first apartment I ever had. And now we're here.
Yeah.
We've moved, and every time we've moved, I've been pregnant.
That's crazy.
And it's been horrible. So, and I think it was the first episode I mentioned about the forgiveness journal. And this is it.
Did you get that Hobby Lobby?
Yeah, I got this at Hobby Lobby, and when I tell you, this has like been so helpful for me. Like, you know, my falling out with my family and stuff, that came with a lot. Like, there was just a lot of build up things, even like from being a child, like everything. My mom, my dad, everything. So this journal has like been so helpful for me, and there's so many, like, it correlates with the Bible and it gives you scripture and stuff like that. Like, here's one that I highlighted. It says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life, of whom shall I be afraid? Your face, Lord, I will seek. Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me." And that's just so comforting to hear whenever you've had pain caused from parents, your mom, your dad, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So just stuff like that. And it's just like a guided journal you can talk about. She'll ask you, I feel like I'm talking to her, honestly, when I'm reading the book. She's so like sentimental, and she tells her story too. Like, her husband had an affair and stuff like that, and obviously that's probably one of the hardest things to forgive somebody for.
Oh yeah.
But it talks so much about how, like, forgiveness isn't for the other person, it's for you.
Mm-hmm.
And letting go of that burden and that hurt and that pain does so much for you that, like, it's not just letting them off the hook. It's not like, okay, whatever, they did what they did, it's fine. That's not what it's like at all. It's like just releasing all of that from your heart and giving it to God, and that's what he wants you to do anyways.
With some of that, it's easier said than done. Like, you can be like, just, forgive and forget, just let it go. But there's some things that, people will do to you, and it's like, how am I supposed to forgive them for this?
Yeah.
And so, and of course it's in our nature, to like, get revenge. Like, we want to do that so bad, but that's definitely not the right way to go about it. Two wrongs don't make a right. But so I agree, forgiveness is really important, and it's really important for you especially to do.
And like, exactly, it's not as easy as it sounds, for sure. And that's why, like, this too, like, she doesn't go straight into like, you have to forgive, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, if anything, she understands that, like, it's really difficult to do that. And so she'll just, like, one of the first things that you have to write in here is like, describe some of the feelings of resistance, confusion, or fear you have about forgiving someone who has hurt you. So, like, why are you afraid to forgive them? And like, for me, I feel like they never said they were sorry. They don't deserve my forgiveness. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's not about the other person.
Yeah.
And another thing here, she like explains what forgiveness is and what forgiveness is not. One of the things that she pointed out that stuck out to me the most was, forgiveness does not justify or excuse abuse. While the limitless grace of God provides a way for us to all be forgiven, the truth of God provides parameters so that wrong behavior can be addressed. Abuse is not to be tolerated. It is right for you to establish boundaries with equal measures of mercy. Mercy and tough love. Oh, that's so funny. So I really like that a lot. So another one is, forgiveness doesn't let the other person off the hook. It actually places them in God's hands. And from my understanding, like, if you're not willing to forgive somebody, you're not releasing them to God for God to work in their lives. Like, you're holding on to all of that and you're not giving it to God. So God really has no power over the situation at that point, and like, he can't do the work that he needs to do on them. And once you forgive them, you start praying for them. And once you're praying for them, God works on them.
Yeah.
And I mean, we all know, like, God can do
just staring at us.
God can do anything. You know what I mean?
Oh,
he can turn anything around, and he can enter people's hearts and completely change them, So, this says, forgiveness doesn't let the other person off the hook. It actually places them in God's hands. Forgiving the one who hurt you does not mean you are freeing them of the consequences of their sin. It does mean you refuse the burden of taking revenge and trust God to execute his justice with appropriate measures of mercy. that's so good.
It is. That's amazing.
It's so good. And like just her telling you like what forgiveness is not, and she just like what are you thankful that forgiveness is not, what are you thankful that forgiveness is, stuff like that. It just really like, and as you work through it, you start feeling it. Like you start feeling less angry, you start feeling less sad.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And I'm literally on page I haven't been in here in like a couple days, but I'm on page 13, literally chapter 2, and I already feel so much less like I'm not angry anymore.
Wow.
I'm really not.
Yeah.
And I've had stuff happen recently, like within the last couple weeks, and I'm not mad about it. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And she hasn't been like, forgive them or God's going to be mad at you. Like, it's not like that at all. She just talks you through it, and you just talk about your feelings, and it just goes away.
Yeah, it's definitely a God thing too.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Praying about it and stuff does wonders.
And the scripture that she puts in there is just so powerful. So like I'll read through that, and whenever she puts like a verse or whatever in there, I'll go find it in my Bible, and I'll like read the whole thing. And it's all just been like so relatable and so like spot on with what I needed. So I highly recommend this by Liza.
I would say Lisa.
Liza. Why did I even try to
say
by her?
You can probably get it on Amazon too or something.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. I think this was only like $13.99, I think, at Hobby Lobby, and it says it's originally $23.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, definitely check out your local Hoblob. Get you that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's crazy. I was just reading in my Bible lesson. I'm in Matthew, and it was talking about an eye for an eye and all that, but it says something about your enemy like slaps you on your right cheek, give them your other
left
cheek.
Yeah. Yep. If they ask for your if they like ask for your shirt, give them your jacket, or like if they ask for your jacket, give them say, like, cloak and stuff like that. Like
if they ask for your cloak, give them
your turnip or something.
Does it say that?
Dude, actually, I'll look it up right now. But I tell you not to resist an evil person, but whoever slaps you on your right cheek, turn the other to him also. If anyone wants to sue you and take away your tunic, let him have your cloak also.
Wow. I didn't remember that part.
And whoever compels you to go 1 mile, go with him 2. Give to him who asks you, and from him who wants to borrow from you, do not turn away. Yeah.
Amen.
Period. Yeah, which was the one? Oh, yeah. This one I really liked a lot.
I didn't get there yet.
This is Matthew 6:25. Therefore I say to you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, nor about your body, what you will put on. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? Look at the birds of the air, for they neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not more valuable than they? Which of you, by worrying, can add 1 cubit to his stature? But that's so, like, he literally is just saying, like, don't worry about food, don't worry about clothes. Like,
don't worry about anything.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to worry because
God's got it.
Yeah, right. I just heard something the other day that was like, if we're worrying about something, that basically means we don't trust God.
Yeah.
That's like disrespectful towards him. If we're worrying about it,
Yeah.
you're supposed to give God your worries and let him go. He's got it under control, obviously.
Yep. Period.
Okay, before we close, we're going to talk about
an experience.
An experience, something that just happened. I mean, a day that we had.
Yeah.
That was really weird. And we don't know what was going on, but we're going to talk about it because I don't know how to explain this.
Yeah. So I haven't taken, I'm a family of 4. I haven't taken my kids to church since my son was born. He's 5 months old. Because it's just a lot. Like, with babies, you know, if you're a mom, like you never know when they're gonna want a
Yeah,
bottle.
right.
Like their time
It's-
schedule is honestly never the same. Like
yeah.
having a newborn on a schedule is just yeah. So for me personally, as a mom, it's nearly impossible for me to get a newborn on a schedule. Like they, you know, sometimes he will drink 6 ounces of milk, and the next time he'll drink 4 ounces of milk, and then he wants 2 ounces in an hour, and then his schedule's all messed up. So, anyways, we haven't been to church since he's been born because it's just a lot to get ready and prepare for. But we were like this past Sunday, we were like, yeah, we're all going to church. So the devil was working overtime.
Like crazy.
Overtime.
Like crazy, dude.
And I really truly believe in my heart that it's because we started this podcast and, you know, we're talking about God and we're reading our Bibles more and we've been like doing so many things and we're a big threat to the devil. And I was taking my whole family to church for the first time in months.
Right.
So anyways, the morning started out of like basically waking up late, rushing around to get the kids ready. And I literally went into Rad's nursery and was about to have a panic attack. Like, could not catch my breath. I was like, Gary, I'm going to have a panic attack. And I haven't felt like that in a long time. I struggled with panic attacks in the past, but like I haven't had one in a long time. So I was like, this is so weird. And my mood was horrible. Like I was so grumpy. I was like literally about to throw my hands up multiple times and be like, that's it, we're not going. Like everything was against us. Like forgot my purse. Like so many things were going on. Then we forgot the baby's binky and I was like, whatever. He's just going to church without his binky.
Yeah.
And had to get gas, like so much. And then we literally, and then I said that I was sorry to you while I was pumping gas because I was in such a bad mood and we were running late.
And I was being selfish and making it all about me and like, oh, this ruined my whole morning. Like, well, like that's what was going on in my head. And so I got in kind of a bad mood. And sis told me she was sorry. And I'm like, it's fine, I guess. But she thought that I was mad at her. And I wasn't mad at you. I was just like being selfish and in a mood.
Irritated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just, and looking back and I'm like, wow, like I made that whole thing just all about me. And I think that was just.
It was just everybody was off.
Everybody was not doing well.
No. Yeah. So whenever you were like, it's fine, I guess. I am such an empath. It's not even funny. And I just like feel everything so deeply. And so I'm like, oh no, sis is mad at me. So then I started like crying, literally, because I thought you were mad at me. And then you thought I got mad at you, but I wasn't mad at you. I was mad at me because I thought that I made you upset. And like, that's like still one of my number one top priorities in my head is like to not make you or anybody upset. I hate when people are mad at me. So then we like didn't talk like for like a while at church.
We were in the car and you started crying and I thought, you know, you were just crying because you're upset about everything that was going on.
Yeah.
So then we got to church and we were sitting there and I'm still like, you know, I wasn't really in a bad mood. I was just like, you know, whatever. I just don't feel great. And
yeah.
And then something happened and you like gave me a look and I was like, is she actually mad at me right now? Like how has this
remember? I don't think I did that on purpose.
Well, yeah, because then you went into the bathroom and I went in because I started crying and I was like, you're mad at me. And you were like,
I like couldn't find the words to tell you that I wasn't mad at you. I was upset that I made you upset.
Yeah.
And I thought you were mad at me.
And I said something about Bubby or something, and then you gave me a look. Oh. And I went into the bathroom and I was like, I know you're like mad at me.
I actually literally don't remember that. And that's how crazy like that whole day was. Because I believe you. I'm sure I did give you a look, but I genuinely don't remember that.
I don't know why, but that just like pushed me over the edge for no reason. Like not like in like angry way, but it just like I literally was sitting there like in what do they call it, the church pew, or is that like, I don't know, but sitting there and I just started crying. This is whenever you guys took Nova to the nursery and I was sitting there by myself. I started crying and then I went into the bathroom and started bawling my eyes out.
Yeah. And of course Rad had a dirty diaper and then he needed a bottle. And then you came in and you were crying. And it was just like, what the heck? And then even like we all kind of snapped out of it.
Yeah.
We were like, let's go get lunch after church. And so we went and got lunch, and the kids were being so bad. And Nova was like a little past her nap time, but not much. And she can usually go like 2-3 hours past without like misbehaving.
Yeah.
She was being so bad.
Yeah, it was so weird.
Bubby was so fussy when he should have just been sleeping.
Right.
And yeah, everybody's mood was off. Things were extremely. We literally got our food to go and went home.
Yeah.
And then like even when we got home and like after you left, I got so depressed and I just like was crying. And then I took like a 4-hour nap.
Yeah, dude. I didn't even, after I left here, I didn't even want to go home because I was like, I can't sit at home with like my thoughts right now. Like I do not feel good.
Yeah.
I literally like went up to Starbucks and I just sat in like the parking lot.
Yeah.
And then I went home and took a nap. And after I woke up from my nap, I felt better.
Me too.
And yeah.
Me too.
So
I
weird.
literally took a nap and I felt so much better.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just really think that like the devil was working overtime on us that day, and we all felt the same way. We all felt super weird, super sad. I literally was about to be like, that's it, I'm not taking them to church again. You know what I mean? I know that's what he wanted me to do.
Yeah, right.
He wanted me to be miserable and be like, that's too much, I'm not taking them. I'm not going anymore.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, and even while we were there, I was like, dude, let's just leave. Like, I cannot, like, sit here and, like, be okay.
Yeah.
And I was in the bathroom for a majority of the church service just, like, crying. But for no reason. I just felt so sad.
Yeah.
And hysterical. Like, I think Satan was really attacking, like, my emotions. And I should have just, like, prayed, and I didn't.
Yeah.
And so it was just not good at all. But
you should have just seen his yawn. Yeah, and even the service was kind of strange and off. Like I couldn't follow along.
Me either.
Which could have just been a personal problem. But it seemed to me like the service wasn't like flowing. Like it just like kind of made no sense really. And it was, oh my gosh, the weirdest day.
It was the weirdest day ever, but thank goodness we're past that.
Yeah.
It was just not good.
Not good at all.
And, you know, hopefully.
And nobody really did anything wrong.
No.
Like, nobody did anything wrong.
It was just like everything was so, like, up here when it could have just been, like,
yeah.
down here,
and then we, like, all were, like, mad at each other, like, irritated with each other, blaming each other, and nobody did anything. And
and that's something else that I think you've said before about how, like, the devil will attack families, you know, and try to, like, separate you. And
yeah,
we should have just all like stopped and just prayed together.
We should have.
That's really what we needed.
We should have. Even though we were running late for church, we should have just, before we even got out of the car, we should have just prayed together and let it go and tried to.
That's something big, is that like, oh,
Bob.
He's so mad. You take him. I think that's something that's really important too, is you know, not communicating, first of all, something that's really important, and not turning against each other. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big family thing, is not turning against each other, because you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
You
know? But we're making this podcast and talking about all that stuff, and Gary and I are trying to, Gary and I are trying to, like, gain the habit of praying together and stuff, and that's actually, like, such a hard habit to, like, do and keep doing, and whenever you really haven't before, and it's just crazy to me. Like, you know, I pray all the time to myself in my head, but doing it with another person is so different, but it's so powerful to pray together as a couple is so powerful, and I think that's why it's so hard to do it and be consistent with it and not feel weird, because the devil doesn't want you to do that.
There's a Bible verse, I don't remember exactly which one it is, but it says, like, where 2 or more are gathered, like, the Lord is with them, or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but just gonna keep doing it and keep trying to be consistent about it. But
yeah.
So
just pray that next Sunday goes a little bit better.
Yeah.
It can't get any worse.
And honestly, now we have that experience to remember and be like, so we can maybe take a step back and be like, this is the devil, this isn't us. Like, we need to just pray. And
yeah, I think everything is intentional, and even if things don't go the way you want them to, you know, there's always like a lesson to be learned and things to understand. And I think you know, I'm not even mad about any of it because it's like, you know, that needed to happen for.
Yeah. Well, you know what I've been saying lately is everything is of God or of Satan.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't of God. That wasn't, none of us were feeling good. None of us, there was so much sadness.
Yeah, that's the thing is, you know, all that was happening and we didn't go to God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's something I think that was also taught is that's the first thing you're supposed to do, you know, not the last.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah. What?
His pants.
Oh.
But yeah, I think that's everything for now. We will let you know before next week what our next episode's going to be about. I'll post it on TikTok and Instagram or something.
Yeah,
so,
we're not sure yet what we're going to be talking about, but
make sure you're following us.
Yeah.
Like our videos.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, period.
Don't comment anything.
If you do, we're just going to pray for you. So.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, you want to pray together?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Bubby, now you need to behave.
Sure. That's what Bubby's saying.
Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this podcast and for being able to do this together as sisters. And I think it's just so much fun, honestly. Like, we have so much fun doing this and just talking, and I personally feel so much better after we do it, like just talking about things and talking about you and what you've done in our lives and the lessons that we've learned and all of those things. And we just thank you so much for that. I pray that you keep guiding us to find the right words and reach the right people, and, you know, anybody that we can touch or needs help or anything, I just pray that you lead them our way. Thank you so much for everything that you have given us. And yeah, we pray for anybody in need and anybody struggling with anything going on in their lives. Father, we pray that you just place a protecting and a healing hand over them and allow forgiveness over anybody's heart who needs to forgive other people. So thank you, Father. Amen.
Amen. Yay.
Woohoo! All right. Oh, you spit up everywhere.
Oh, no.
That's a wrap. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Testing.
Oh, you had to do it quietly. Testing. Hey, you started. I can't.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. Ow, my stomach.
This is already not going well.
Why? You don't know what to say? Sorry. I don't know why. It just
froze. A lot at first.
Did you hear that?
Barely. I wouldn't have even thought of.
Okay. Yeah, I talked to Dad and